Today, we're gonna do an Apex Legends tier list, and we are currently in Season 8. The criteria for today's tier list is gonna be based on each character's abilities. So you have the passive ability, the tactical ability, and the ultimate ability. And we're gonna rank each legend based on that criteria, and hopefully it's a lot of fun. I want to see what everyone's opinion is. We do have a couple people that play, quite a bit of Apex in the chat. So we're gonna start out with Bangalore. I've been playing a lot of Bangalore lately. Bangalore is solid. She has her, her speed boost when she's getting shot at. She does have her 2 smokes, and she has her ultimate mortar strike ability that covers up like an entire city. So I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna put Bangalore at maybe an A. She might come down to a B though. But right now I'm gonna put her at an A. I think Bangalore is a great character. I always recommend her to newer players because her abilities are the easiest to understand, but then they also have, complex ways to use them, as you see like LG Shiv, FPS use, and other pros and content creators. So I think Bangalore is great. She's a great 1v2, 1v3 type of legend. She's a good teammate. She's great for control. Next up, we have Bloodhound. Bloodhound is probably the meta right now. He has they added a new tactical or a passive where he can scan the beacons like Pathfinder. So that's huge for ranked or just trying to win games. He can see the footsteps of people, and he can also scan traps. He can scan enemies, so you know exactly all the information you need to know before you fight a team. And then his ultimate, he has increased speed. He has a digital threat no matter what. He can see, people in red. As long as you're in the vision, he can see. As you down people, his ultimate time increases. So he's obviously an S tier. He might be a top character right now. He's definitely in the top 3, I would say. It's tough. I mean, this game it's tough to balance a BR game, let alone a BR game with people with abilities, Oh man, this is such a tough one. When it comes to Caustic, he can see through his gas. He can set down his canisters. He can throw smoke at people offensively, defensively. He can really control buildings. His canisters can block buildings. He's just such an annoying character to fight. Caustic, to me, I like having a Caustic on my team because he saves you a lot of time. I don't use Caustic that much though. I don't think he's necessarily a strong character, so I'm gonna put him at B. He's more annoying than strong. I don't ever feel like a Caustic is I'm gonna get destroyed because of a Caustic. You can pretty much avoid a lot of the canisters, shoot them down, and even if you get ticked by them, if you get stuck in a bad position against a Caustic, he could be really deadly. But a lot of the times he's pretty easy to avoid, I would say. Generally I would put him at a B. I don't think he's I think he's above average, but I don't think he's a S tier, I would say. Next we have Crypto. Crypto has his drone. He can ult, take half the shield. He can pick up banners. I would say Crypto is great for end game maybe, or really campy games, but you're never gonna really, I don't envision a super high kill game with a Crypto just because it's such a passive type play style. It's more of great for end game with ranked. Everyone's camping and buildings at the end of the game, so Crypto would be great. But for him, I'm gonna put him above Caustic, but he's still probably a B for me. I don't play Crypto. I would like to learn him a little bit more. Mirage is great. Mirage is great. I can't wait to get to Mirage. I think Mirage he's really flashy, but I mean, some of these legends, they're fun, but they might not have the best abilities for the team, the most useful, I know, I feel so bad for Wraith mains, man. They just constantly get nerfed and destroyed. Next we have Fuse. He's a new legend. He can carry I think he might have one of the best passives in the game, probably a top 3. He can carry double the nades, so this is huge for end game, because at end game you don't want to carry a lot of nades. You want to just spam a team third party with nades. Fuse is pretty much a third party character. His ult completely isolates a team. His tactical can break doors or just kind of control the route that a team goes. If they're coming around the right, you shoot his tac there, he'll go left. He's probably a C character to me. I don't think he's that. I think he's a fun character, but as far as his abilities, I mean, his passive is probably his best ability to me. I think Fuse's passive is great. I love the idea. I love that his arm can shoot out grenades. He's still a really cool character. He's interesting. But next we have Gibby. Oh man, Gibby is such a hard character to fight. He's got his shield that's the size of a football field. He's thicker than cold peanut butter. He has his bubble, which is a super nice, emergency type ability. He has his, you know, his ult where it's very aggressive. It does good damage. I would have to say Gibby's an S tier for me. The thing I don't really care about when I've been playing Gibby is the fact that you have to ADS with him, and it feels like you can't play fast with Gibby. That's why I don't really like. I like Gibby, but I hate playing slow. You know what I mean? I like to play fast, aggressive, you know, Octane, Horizon, Bangalore. Like, I like fast characters, and some characters are just a lot slower. But Gibby's a great teammate to have. You know, his abilities work really well with others. He's just like a great defensive character. I feel like if you're running rank, it's so nice to have a Gibby on your team, especially end game when it gets real crowded, to have that bubbles like an automatic. Like, think of it as just like an automatic building that you always have on you. Obviously, there's cooldown and stuff, but he does feel slow, though. He does feel slow. He has a huge hitbox, but he takes, I think it's 15% less damage because he's fortified. Next up, we have Horizon. Horizon has her passive. You can fall from a satellite and not lose any speed as soon as you hit the ground. So it's super nice to, like, you know, play aggressive. It's super nice to jump off of the tall buildings that you got up to with your tactical. Her tactical is a gravity lift. So she literally has height everywhere you go, and it goes high. It doesn't just go up to like one story. It's like 3 stories high. So her tactical is one of my favorites in the game. Her ultimate literally is an actual black hole. It's like a vacuum. You can use that with grenades. You can combo that with other, you know, legends. I think Horizon is probably an S tier for me. It's just like, it's so hard to not have a Horizon on your team because everyone on the team can use the gravity lift. Everyone can take advantage of, you know, her ultimate ability, and just having that height end game is huge. It's like having a Pathfinder without having to worry about, you know, mastering his grapple and like having to swing and all types of crazy stuff. Like, you literally just throw it down, step on it, and then you just instant height. So it's like, it's hard to say Horizon's not an S tier for me. Next we have Lifeline. Oh man, Lifeline is just, you know, constantly getting buffs. I would say, along with Caustic, Lifeline's one of the most annoying characters to fight because her instant res with a shield, not only is it instant res, but it has a shield, and it's just like, if you fight a Lifeline in a building, she's constantly going to be spamming like reses. You're gonna have to kill these bitches like 5 times, and if you don't focus the Lifeline, you're screwed. Like, a team that's worse than you can kill you because it's just, you gotta constantly focus on, you know, different people. And if she has a gold backpack, she's instant rezzing those people with half their health, so they don't even have to heal. They can just get in the fight. They don't have to be scared. So it's just, fighting a Lifeline is so tough. I would say the thing that sucks about Lifeline is Lifeline doesn't have a get out of jail free card. She doesn't have an escape route. She doesn't have boost speed. She doesn't have any offensive abilities. Obviously, she's a support player. She has her drone. She has the extra loot in the blue bins. She has her ultimate that gives you, you know, loot. It doesn't give you guns, but it gives you like shield cells. It might give you like a scope, a helmet. I'm gonna have to say that Lifeline's an A, and I don't know. I'll probably put her above Bangalore. I would rather play Bangalore, but I think in terms of just having on your team, I don't know. It's really tough. I would say a Lifeline is an A for sure. I agree. I think Lifeline's an A. Moving on, next we have Loba. The thing that I think that's misunderstood about Loba is she doesn't have any abilities that are gonna help your team do damage, right? The cons with Loba, the number one thing that was so frustrating about Loba, even when I used her, and they still haven't fixed it, is her jump bracelet. 1, it takes too damn long, and 2, I feel like 50% of the time it doesn't even land, where it cancels and it comes back to her, and you're like basically fucked, because it always happens when somebody's like chasing you and you're trying to throw your bracelet and it just doesn't even work. So I hope they fix that with her. And she doesn't do damage for teams, right? She's all about like loot. Now the pros about Loba is she's great. I think she's great for ranked. I think being able to drop hot or just drop anywhere and see like the purple and the gold within, like, you know exactly where to go. You can see the shape of it, usually like what it is. You can see the guns, like you can see all the good high tier loot, which is great. So I think that's why Loba's great, you know, for hot dropping. Another thing that's great is that her ult got buffed, so where it starts at like 50% out when you jump out of the jump ship, so instantly it's already like halfway charged. So within like the first 5 minutes of the game, or not even, within the first like couple minutes of the game, you already have your ult. So if you land in a huge city, you just plop that baby down, and then you have like your whole team has loot. You can take 2 things. You can take infinite ammo now. Like, it's really nice. I think Loba, it would be a great character to have, you know, for ranked, because the biggest problem I found with ranked is being able to find loot early game, because everybody lands everywhere, and I don't understand how, but it always seems like no matter where you land, you're pretty much and there's another team contesting you. So it's really nice to have, you know, Loba's ult. I think she'd be great for rank. I do think she has solid abilities, but it's tough to say, man, because it really depends on the person controlling the character, if they're that good. If you have someone that really knows when to use the abilities and how to use them, you know, any character could be like an A, you know, a sub A and above. But when it comes to Loba, I think she's above Fuse for sure. I don't think she's above Caustic though. I think that they definitely could work on our Q. Yeah, she's great for learning the game. You just see all the guns, like, you know, right in the inventory of the black market. I'm gonna put her at B though. I think B is a pretty generous, you know, she gets shit on all the time by people in the community. I do like Loba. I do wish that her Q was faster and efficient. I wish it didn't. It feels like it's bugged half the time. But yeah, I'm gonna put her in B. Next up, we have Mirage. Mirage is really tough. I think Mirage, you know, he has his passive, which they change, where you can res your teammate and you turn invisible while you res, which that's huge, especially in press situations. He sends out his Mirage, and you can bamboozle people. You can really like fool people. It has a really short cooldown, which I think is great. His ultimate is like a get out of jail free card, which is cool, and you can use it offensively now, because back when he first came out, it was like as soon as you started to shoot, I think that it would, you know, kind of like turn off, but now you can like use all of your Mirages together. They also added footsteps, which is, I think the footsteps was one of the biggest buffs that Mirage has gotten. I think Mirage is he's definitely not an S or A to me. I would say he's either high C or low B. I'm gonna put him at C. I don't think he helps the team that much as he should be able to. He's more about flash. So if you get a Mirage on your team, you know, his abilities are solid, but I think that, I don't know, I would say he's above Fuse though. It's tough to say, really. I mean, all of these like characters are kind of around just a little bit better. Like the S tiers are pretty obvious. And when you get like to B and C, it's kind of like a mixture. It really just depends. Next up, we have the homie, Octane. Octane is, in my opinion, I would say him and Horizon are the most fun characters, bar none, in the game. Their flash, you're doing like, you know, you're hitting the jump pad if you're Octane. You get the double jump. Now they added it. If you're sliding into the jump pad, you go way farther. If you walk into it, if you're standing up and you run into it, you go high.
Hi.
Okay.
You know, opposed to long. And you have the double jump. And I think Octane, you know, they buffed his passive, which is the health regen. It's double fast, which is huge, because it used to be so annoying to be Octane, use his stim, and then your health would take forever to regenerate. It would be actually annoying. So I'd be like, you know, now it like happens where you can just like use his stim, and then instantly he's like healed within like seconds, and like you don't have to carry around any bandages or syringes, I mean. So I think Octane has definitely gotten the buffs he deserves, but I think there's a lot of work to be done with Octane. He still doesn't seem like he helps the team as much as I would like. If Octane had maybe another passive, or maybe if his, you know, tactical or his ult was just reworked a little bit, I don't know what exactly it could be. And I think that's the problem that Respawn's having too. I think they've made some good changes to make him like more viable for a team, but I just don't know what it is about Octane. But he's definitely not an S tier to me. He's S tier and fun, but in terms of having on my team, this is what I'm saying. If I queue into a ranked game and I see someone's Octane, or if I see somebody's, you know, or Horizon, I'd much rather have those teammates, because one, most people that play characters like Octane, it just seems like they don't really know how to use him selfishly. They only know how to use him to help themselves steal your loot, rotate by themselves, or get out when you're f***ed. You know what I mean? So he has his stem, which he basically stabs himself, and he can get like a speed boost while he's crouch walking, like while he's running. You know, he's just like a really fast character, aggressive. His ultimate is like a launch pad, you know, where he can like launch into, you know, a squad, or he can get out of a fight fast. For me, I'm gonna say with Octane's recent buffs, oh man, it's so tough. I don't know if I feel like he's definitely below Bangalore, but does he deserve to be A? I would say either he's high B or low A. I'll throw him in A. I might throw him back down to high B, but the idea is that he's somewhere in here. He's somewhere in between Bangalore and Crypto. Next, we have Pathfinder up. Pathfinder has absolutely been bent over, robot cheeks spread apart, and just fuck for I don't know how many seasons. They recently made some decent changes to help him out, and his grapple isn't as bad anymore, but you just don't see people running Pathfinder anymore. Pathfinder in early Apex was 100% S tier, 100%. Everyone had a Pathfinder. He was like a bad guy in your dream or something. Like, you just couldn't get away from this dude. But after the recent, you know, nerfs, I mean, not even recent, but like after the nerfs over the seasons, I think he's probably, I'm gonna say he's like probably like a mid-tier to low B for me. He might even be below Loba. I don't know though. Another thing about Pathfinder is no character in the game feels as slow as Pathfinder. Gibby doesn't feel that slow. You know, Caustic doesn't feel that slow. No one feels as slow as Pathfinder. Next, we have Rampart. Rampart is super... Oh, man. I don't ever run Rampart, so my experience on her is really low. I do hear a lot of bad things about Rampart because, you know, they did do a recent buff on Sheila where instead of having like a little 90-degree... you know, angle, she can see like 180 degrees now, which is nice, but it's very inaccurate. It has to be the perfect scenario. Her walls can get broken pretty easily. She does have the LMG passive where she gets extra bullets, which is really cool, but I would say she's probably below Mirage and Fuse. I'm gonna throw her at D. I think throwing a character at F, that's tough, man. But Rampart's pretty close. Rampart's pretty close to F. I'm gonna be nice and throw her at a D. And then if someone else gets a D, then I'll throw her in the F. Next up, we have Watson. Watson, it's crazy. Watson was the meta for quite a while. I saw like in ranked and in comp where, you know, people would set up. It'd have a bunch of fences, all the ults, you know. Her ult literally negates, you know, every explosive, every nade, every tactical, every ultimate that explodes. So if you're outside, you just throw her ult down, you know, Bangalore ult, Gibby ult, Revenant tack, I think even. It's just like, so there's so many things it does well against, and it gives you shield, and she can stack multiple ultimate accelerants, and they instantly charge. So I still do think she's solid. I agree. I think Watson is solid, but I just don't think people are running her for some reason. There's a lot of legends to pick from. I would say Watson is probably a mid-tier B for me still. I don't know if I would have her above Crypto and Caustic though. Part of me wants to put Crypto even lower, because when you think about it, Crypto's only true ability is his drone. Without his drone, like, what else can he do really? Like, all of Crypto's like perks, pros, abilities go through and they work and they're good for the team when you're not even controlling your player, which is really annoying to me. It makes me want to put Crypto even lower. It makes me want to put Crypto like here. And I know he's used in comp and all that stuff, but I just feel like Crypto deserves more. He needs like, he needs some milk. Some type of ability that doesn't have to do with his drone. Because when I'm like, from like a player standpoint or like entertainment standpoint, just like sitting there and not using your gun, you know, controlling this little like toy around to like collect banners or scout people out or like, you know, ult people, it's so boring. Exactly. It's so boring to me. I don't know. He's about like, he's similar with like Pathfinder to me. It's tough, but I'm gonna put Crypto a little lower. I would rather play all of the people above. I would probably even rather play these two over Crypto, but I'm going based off abilities, not really too much what I like. Next we have Wraith. Wraith, you know, she is the TTVer of the game. She's got her passive where you always know if people are aiming at you. You can queue out of almost anything. I know they nerfed the shit out of it, so it takes, you know, a while to like queue out, and it used to be instant, right, where you could just press Q and then you're out, but now it takes a little bit. She's got to do this fucking thing, and then, you know, and then her ultimate, she has her portals, which is really nice for a team rotation. Her hitbox recently got nerfed, so it's like she's thicker. You can get shot through the legs and still get hit. It's so annoying to fight. I think Wraith is one of the most annoying characters to fight because she always can get out of, you know, the fight or whatever she needs, and it just seems so like, oh man, it's just not like, it's such a like, it feels like such a rat way to play, you know what I mean, where you like queue out just because you can't handle the fight and everyone else is kind of fucked, every other legend, you know what I mean, like she's the only one that is invincible. I'm just saying, I don't know, that's just my opinion on it. It doesn't mean she's not good. She's great. She's always a part of the meta. Even with all the nerfs, I would say she's still an S. Is she above Gibby and Horizon? Maybe not after all the nerfs. but she could be. I don't know. I don't really know the order I want for S, but I would say no matter what, Wraith is definitely an S tier. Her abilities, yeah, when it comes down to her abilities, she has rotation, she has a get out of jail free card, she has, you know, pretty much like a sixth sense or whatever you want to call it, where someone's sniping at you or shooting at you or aiming at you. It's just like you always kind of know when people are looking at you. So Wraith is great to have on the team. So yeah, I'm gonna say she's an S. And for the last legend on the list, we have, I think, the most annoying character in the game to fight. I honestly think Revenant is the most annoying character. Now Caustic's annoying, you know, Lifeline's annoying, but Revenant, this bitch gets to set down this totem and all of the teammates on it can literally have, you know, an extra life pretty much to just all out push, not give a flying fuck, and they get, you know, teleported back. You know, they have to heal a little bit, but it's just like, it's so insane. And the fact that this dude can shoot out of, he like takes his middle finger and like grabs this thing and like shoots it at you and disables all your abilities, not one, everything, for 15 seconds. I think it's 15 seconds. It might be 10, but it's absolutely annoying. Revenant's the most annoying character in the game, but his abilities are great. He can crawl, like while he's crouched, he can go just as fast as someone that is running. He can climb double the height as other people, so he can get to places. He can be very sneaky, but also very when it comes to Revenant, he's not an S tier, but I would say he's probably in high A tier. And it doesn't mean like I like him because he's an A. It just truly means he's pretty overpowered. And the fact of just like, he can just be so annoying, just disable all your abilities, and then he's like pushing you with the entire, like if I see a full team that's like Revenant ulted just coming at me, you know, with like that lava shadow look, dude, I'm just like, fuck, man. Like I'm gonna have to use up, you know, a whole clip on this team or more, and then I'm gonna be hurt, and then they're gonna come back and push again if I'm actually really hurt. So it sucks, you know, especially if you don't know where the totem is. You know, if you do know where the totem is and you destroy the team while they have their extra life, then you can push in like easily, throw a grenade there, or just like, you know, then it's great. But if you don't know where the totem is, you're kind of fucked. Concluding the list, we have in our S tier, Bloodhound, Gibby, Horizon, Wraith, well deserved. In the A tier, we have Revenant, Lifeline, Bangalore, and Octane. Very solid crew there. In the B tier, we have Caustic, Watson, Crypto, Pathfinder, and Loba. In the C tier, we have Mirage and Fuse. And in the D tier, we have Rampart. That concludes the Apex Legend tier list for this season, season 8. There could be a lot of changes for next season. We might have to do another one, but it was a lot of fun. I like to see, you know, people's opinions on it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, if you would make any changes. I know this list isn't perfect, but you know, it's a first time we're trying it out, and I'm pretty happy with how it, you know, how it finished out. And this will be, you know, my Apex Legends tier list for season 8.